Good day everyone. I am John Lester Tuson from GSID2B, and today I'll be discussing to you information management. So in this video, I'll be presenting a compilation of our lessons in information management. So first we'll start by defining what it is and why it is important. Also, we're going to move on into data versus information, the information management lifecycle, and also we are going to explore entity relationship diagrams, or ERDs, including their types, their relationships, and symbols. So let's dive right in. So what is information management? Information management is the process of collecting, organizing, storing, and distributing information so that
Right information.
reaches the right person at the right time. So we can basically list an example. Kunwari yung mga nanay natin minsan or yung mga marites, di ba? They have their own way of collecting yung informations nila. Sometimes they even process it. And they add small details doon. Which parang which is kind of bad kasi they like to add details minsan, and this will create miscommunication, misunderstanding minsan. So wag niyong gagahin yung mga kanan, okay? So let's continue. It's not just information management. It's not just about technology. We can also apply this in real world examples in computing, in businesses, and so on. It also involves people, like as I said earlier, yung mga marites, mga nanay natin, and processes of how they delivered yung information, how they store, or how they process yung mga information that they collect. So, by managing our information properly, organizations can operate smoothly and effectively. Now, let's continue with the importance of information management. Why is it important nga ba? Information management is important kasi first, it saves time and money. So, with that given statement, it says that it will save us time and money daw if we manage our informations properly. So we won't like our informations parang it's not organized na naman, 'di ba? Kasi tayo lang din yung mahihirapan at the end of the day if we fail to organize our informations. Strategies are examples of these informations. Let's say yung mga resibo natin sa electric bills, sa mga receipts, and so on. That is really important in real life examples. So if we fail to organize these informations, such as our birth certificates, also we can use them as examples. We cannot tayo lang din yung mahirapan at the end of the day. Thus, it will save us time and money and it will not be hassle if we can manage our informations properly. So let's continue. Second daw, it improves accuracy and security. So with that, if we manage our informations properly, it doesn't just revolve with time and money. If we can if we can store, we can organize our informations properly, it will also grant us the security, ensuring na yung mga data that we store, that we collect, that we process is correct, and at the time that we deliver them at the person at the right time, we are sure that the information that we are sharing is secure and protected. Third, it supports good decision making, giving managers the right insights to act wisely. So with our informations compiled, organized, we are sure that by sending by the informations that we are sending our managers, it will give them insights to for better decision making and for us to acquiesce. Without it, organizations risk errors, poor decisions, and even legal or financial troubles. So that's why information management is important. We must always organize our informations. So we are done with the definition of information management and also the importance of information management. Let's dive in naman sa root niya. How do we get information nga ba? It's by data. So here's a key distinction. Let's say that how are we going to explain this ba? Let's just compare them. Data versus information. Data are raw facts. These are the numbers, symbols, or the letters yet na nare-receive natin, and we are going to collect them. And with this, that by themselves don't mean much pa, right? If they're just data pa lang, if they're just raw facts pa lang. Information on the other side is the data that has been processed. Is it sinking? Data are the raw facts, and information is the collected and processed data. So, on the other hand, let's say na nga yan, ayun na nga, information na nga. It is the data that has been processed, organized, and given meaning. So, it must have sink in naman na ngayon that data are just raw facts, that they're not really much meaningful pa. But if we compile them and if we collect them, store them, and process them properly, we get information. Say example of this is like pag nag-enroll tayo, we're going to list our names in a form, and then with that, then the data that they receive from the register, they're going to compile it. Then there we will have list of students, ganun na lang. For example, a list of sales. Also, we can also list sales numbers as data, but calculating the average sales for the month transforms it into information that managers can use. Like say na lang sa mga billion, ganun, yung mga sales nila, it will be recorded sa mga businesses. So with that, then they're going to calculate it, diba? They're going to calculate the average of kung magkano yung mga benta nila per day, weeks, months, and then they will have a total amount of their sales, which makes it meaningful. So that's it for data versus information. After the data versus information, let's dive into information management lifecycle naman. So, the information management lifecycles shows the steps for handling information. It's listed here. The information management lifecycle, it goes through different processes, which is from first collection, then we're going to store them na storage, we're going to process them to processing, and we're going to distribute them and use the informations that we process. So the information management life cycles shows the step for handling information. First, we collect the data from different sources. Then next, we're going to store it securely in files or databases. Then comes processing, where the data is cleaned and analyzed, which in that due time that it is being processed, we are creating something meaningful. And then moving on to distribution, follows making sure that the right people receive the information. So each information that we collect, that we store, we process, is designated for a person. And with this raw data that we collect and process, transforms into a meaningful information that we give to a specific person to send a meaningful information to them. So finally, the information is used in decision making. This cycle continues as new data is generated. So that's it for information management life cycles. So let's continue in the module 1. In the module 1, database systems or DMS has been discussed in that module. We also have the backup and recovery, the benefits niya, which is efficiency, competitive advantage. And also, it has the challenges, which is the data overload, changing value of information. So, in the module 1, we learned about databases and database management systems or DBMS, which provide efficient ways for us to store and retrieve data. So on sa database management system, it gave us ways para ma-store natin yung data and for us to retrieve that data lang din, for us to create meaningful informations. We also discuss backup and recovery. So, sometimes we really do need backup sa mga information sa atin, sa mga data natin, kasi if they get lost, we lost something important lang din. For example, our databases. We say we create databases, list of informations, data that we store for something meaningful. Tapos mawawala lang siya ng ganun. We wouldn't want that to happen naman. That's why we have the database management systems where we store our data for us to also retrieve them by the time that we need them. And then we also, it protects our information from loss. And lastly, we look at the benefits. The benefits here, let's say we can for example, the efficiency like I mentioned earlier, and the competitiveness. And challenges such as data overload and the changing value of information over time. So, information doesn't become stagnant. It grows over time. Just like everything, there is nothing permanent in this world. Everything is changing. So those are some of the challenges that we face as IT students lang din. We never stop learning kasi every time there's like a new innovations that other creators lang din invent. So we don't remain stagnant. There's nothing really stagnant. We learn each time. I remember yung sinabi ng isang teacher noon, said that we only para meet satisfaction with the term eudaimonia. It only satisfaction only occurs when you die. So that's it. I don't really know why I added that, but yeah, that's it for the module 1. So let's move on to the introduction of ERDs. So ERDs are like the visual tool for data modeling. Let's say na lang tayo kunwari yung datas. Now you want to look organized, you want to look presentable. So as an example, we can use our clothes. So we want to become meaningful naman, di ba? Not just our raw appearance, but we use clothes to organize ourselves, to model ourselves, yeah, right? So we're going to discuss it in this part. It shows entities. Data modeling or DRD shows entities, attributes, and relationships. The foundation of database design. ERD is the foundation of database design. So, ERD is to organize and model data. We use entity relationships, diagrams, or ERDs. These are visual tools that represent entities, their attributes, and the relationships between them. They serve as blueprints for databases design and help us understand the structure of information systems. So ayun nga, it's like the framework of our informations, how we design them. It is like the parang outline ng informations natin that we collect. So we want to make them meaningful, right? We want to make them organized. So we're going to discuss them later within the different types of ERDs. So then let's dive in with the types of ERDs. We have here um, the first example, which is by Chen's model of ERD. It is introduced by Peter Chen in 1976. In this model, entities are shown as rectangles. So, for example, we have employee as an entity. Within the rectangle, it is going to be, the employee is going to be listed there as entity. And it's going to have attributes such as the salary, his current role, ganon. We also put primary keys in it, which is their, you can use an example for this as the employee ID, ganon. So, attributes are presented as ovals. Ayun na nga yung sinabi kong attributes kanina, yung employee ID, ganon. They are presented in oval shapes. And their relationships as diamond. Kasi na lang, for example, the entity is employee. The entity is managed by a manager. Ayan. That's how we deal with the relationships of Peter Chen's model. Then, this model is detailed and excellent for showing the connections between different data elements. Ayun na nga, as I explained earlier. So, this would be all for Chen's model of ERD. Let's move on to cross-foot notation or cross-foot ERD model. The cross-foot ERD model is more modern and widely used in practice. This model of ERD is presented in rectangle form. It's like lang din sa database. It's like in a database form lang din, but just in a square nga, in which where the entity is also in a rectangle form that also contains a list of attributes below it. And the relationships naman niya, it is presented as lines. Lines lang siya, it's not diamond like sa Chen's model. So example, here we have the entity and its attributes here. Tapos here it's a line connected to another entity which together with its attribute. So doon sa line mo lang ilalagay yung relationship nila. Together with symbols at the ends showing yung cardinality daw, which we are going to explain later. For example, na lang, sige, let's say 1-to-1. So, like sa example ko kanina, na 1, an employee and a manager. So, yung relationship nila, it's like kasi na lang here naman ngayon, the manager manages the employee. Tapos, doon, there's like two single entities. So if we are going to let's say parang put their cardinalities in it, we are going to put a single line to identify each entities as one. So that would be all for the cross-foot notation ERD model. So after cross-foot ERD model, we're going to continue with the relationship and cardinalities. So in this part, in ERD's relationships shows how entities are linked, which what we discussed earlier. A 1-to-1 relationship means that entity is paired with only one other, like in my example earlier. A 1-to-many means one entity relates to many others. So let's say an example for this one is A manager manages many employees. Isang manager, it manages many employees. So if we're going to put the cardinalities in that, we're going to draw. If we're going to use the cross foot notation, we're going to write, we're going to draw a single line here and less than connected into the another entity to specify this other entity, the employees, as many. So if we're going to do that naman in Chen's notation, Chen's model, it will be M to N. Kasi na lang, yung yung relationship nila is managers, tapos the two entities again, the manager and the employees. One manager if you're going to list many to many, let's say many students enroll in many courses. Ayun. So moving on. A many to many means entities on both sides can relate to many on the other side, which is the example that we listed just earlier. And cardinalities can also be mandatory or optional, indicating whether a relationship must or may exist. Then that's it for the cardinalities, for the relationships and cardinalities. After the relationships and cardinalities, we're going to continue with the ERD symbols, which we've already discussed earlier, but we're going to discuss it in this part. Dun kay Chen's model ng ERD, we use rectangles, ovals, and diamonds dun. ERD uses shapes and notations. And yeah, so in Chen's we use rectangles, ovals, and diamonds. In Crossfoot naman, we use rectangles with attributes inside them. So in this rectangle, kunwari, we have the entity on top. Below it are the list of attributes. Say the manager, it has the manager ID, yung salary niya, yung yung role niya, and so on. We all in the crossfoot symbol, to show relationships. Yeah, that one. Crossfoot symbol to show relationships. It is the line. And learning these shapes is essential to reading and creating ERDs. So, for us to model our databases or ERDs, we must learn yung mga fundamentals and concepts niya so that we can easily read the models of each ERDs, and for us to understand them and apply them in real life situations lang din, since it's not only applied sa classroom. For us, by learning it, we can also use it in real life examples, not just at school, but it would also be really helpful for us in managing our information sometimes. So to conclude everything that we've tackled for now, let's say we started from information management, which transform raw data into valuable informations through proper processes and tools, such as the ERDs, and how we manage them, how we organize them, how we model our data and informations. We've seen how the life cycles ensures information is collected, stored, processed, distributed, and used. And we also explored the ERDs from Chen's to crossfoot notation and how they model data and relationships. Together, these concepts are fundamentals to modern organization in managing and using information effectively. and wisely also. So that would be all for this video presentation. Really appreciate I really appreciate you guys for listening. That would be all. Thank you.